So we've already talked about the repealing of Roe v. Wade, or the overturning, I guess, is better terminology, I guess. And we went into its implications, what else is at stake, things like gay marriage, sodomy laws are likely to be, enforced potentially. Things are going to get very bad. And I talked about all of that. But here's the video that I want to talk about what we can do and what are the positives. I mentioned briefly in my last segment that culture war issues are what the right use to essentially convince a ton of people to elect conservative politicians who would then, instead of, actually like fighting the SJWs or whatever these, a lot of conservative voters are convinced are an issue now, these Republican politicians, once in power, then go and do something like this. Broadly and without any shame, taking away the rights of American citizens. What does this mean? Well, it can be easy to doomer, to just sulk away and feel as though it's time to give up, like we lost. We did not lose. We did not lose. I already did a video about how bad this is. This video is going to be just about purely positive. I don't want to hear anybody saying, but Zan this, but Zan that. This is purely a positive video. This part of the stream. So, this is a massive, massive cultural opportunity for us. I don't think you guys realize the meme potential of this. If we take advantage of this and we highlight how obvious these attempts to take away people's freedoms are, holy fuck. That can have some severe, strong effects. Strong effects. I'm sorry, but like right now, it does feel as though the culture of political, stupid culture war issues are influencing elections. You've got Marjorie Taylor Greene on the floors of fucking Congress talking about cancel culture and shit, right? Like, if you can win over the general culture of America, you can win over voters. It is that simple. It really is that simple. It's in large part how Trump won. He just won people's hearts and minds over with charisma and memes and a crossroads of cultural things that happened all at once, that just the stars aligned and it just worked out perfectly for Trump to get elected, even with losing the popular vote. With that said, though, the stars have perfectly aligned now for us to come onto the bounce back here. You see, the left has a tendency to take 2 or 3 steps forward and then 1 step back and feel as though that 1 step back is the end of the world. It is not. This is 1 step back after 3 steps forward. Our next stride will be 3 or more steps forward. Believe me, I promise you. Our culture is getting more and more progressive. Already 2/3 of the population of this country are in support of pro-choice side of this issue. This is massively going to disenfranchise a lot of voters. A lot of young, more sexually active people are going to see this as a problem. Biden banning Juul was really bad for that was like, fuck, that's gonna make Biden look bad. Like, the Zoomers are gonna hate that. Holy shit. This, like, I was like, that the whole like Juul getting banned by Biden thing, that made me think, holy fuck, Biden, like that's gonna make us definitely lose the midterms. But this might give the Democrats a chance in the midterms. Cry about it, nicotine junkies. Reverse aimbot. I don't think you realize, but like, nicotine withdrawals mean that like you're not going to function for a while, and then you'll spend the rest of your like the cravings will never go away. You'll, like, if you become addicted to nicotine, my understanding is the cravings never go away. Even if you like get out of the withdrawals and everything, just seeing someone smoke or seeing someone vape or seeing somebody have nicotine, it'll be like if you're starving and watching somebody eat in front of you, but you just can't have any. That's this feeling you'll have for the whole rest of your life. Apparently, Coke is the same way. Stun locks aside, we need to focus heavily because let's be realistic, none of you guys go outside. I could say go and organize, go out and talk to local, community outreach or whatever. I could say that, but let's be real, none of you go outside. So I'm going to give a little bit more realistic advice. I'm gonna give advice that's a little bit more realistic to you guys. Let's be real, to my actual target demographic. None of you guys are out there touching grass. Hypers in chat if you haven't touched grass in the last 7 days. Yeah. So in reality, what's going to be most helpful to you is going to be advice, and what is going to be most helpful to the left generally, at least what you can do, is general cultural contributions. You know how I talk about how I want to build sort of a culture in my community, like a Xander Hall community culture, and that requires you guys to sort of contribute to memes and create memes and do stuff like that. That kind of expands when you talk about a broader online political culture to the 10th degree. Making memes that are funny. I know this sounds so stupid. But Marjorie Taylor Greene was literally on the floor of Congress with a fucking whiteboard showing conservative memes, okay? And it was on fucking C-SPAN, all right? So I'm sorry, but that's where politics are now. We have reached this tier. We have reached this fucking tier. So don't call me cringe for this. Can I show you a really good meme I saw today, actually? This is a really good example. Yep, here it is. They're after me, not because I'm the end goal, Roe v. Wade, but because I'm in the way. Outlaw Plan B, ban contraception, federal ban on abortion, banning gay marriage, anti-sodomy laws, repealing women's rights to vote, banning interracial marriage, return of Jim Crow, return of slavery. It goes back. Roe v. Wade is currently just the most societally acceptable thing to be controversial because we've gotten to this level where we're just kind of, for some reason, okay with an entire demographic of people, that being Christians broadly, actively wanting to take away the rights of entire demographic of people. It's just kind of a thing that they want to do. Yeah. The society they plan to create, as long as they hold power, is a miserable, drab, dark, gray, soulless, tasteless, flavorless, smellless, drab society is what they want to achieve. They have this picture in their mind of this black and white picket fence, white neighborhood, white bread household with 2 white children, a white, straight male and female couple with a dog, and maybe the husband gets drunk and hits the wife every once in a while. That's a society that they're trying to achieve. A Pleasantville-esque level of cult-like delusion. And we need to call that out. It's so obvious. Call it out in your memes. The hypocrisy of conservatives is evident. Why is the internet not flooded with memes with the quartering saying "Go woke, go broke" in the video for Captain Marvel, and then an image of Captain Marvel making $1 billion, and then an image of "Go woke, go broke" for Black Panther, and then Black Panther making $1 billion, and then a picture of "Go woke, go broke" for Endgame, and then Endgame making $2 billion or something. I don't know. I feel like memes like that, they're so simple, but think about it like this. How many of you were radicalized to the right and, God forbid, even voted conservative because of it? Because of online cultural movements that pushed you to the right. We can make that happen for the left. We can make that happen for the left. It's possible. Make memes. Now, another big thing that you can do is participate in left-wing communities in general. most of you are online, so let's be honest, online, right? Obviously, like, you got my chat, you got like my Discord or whatever, but like even on Twitter or whatever, like, form communities, make like Twitter group chats and stuff like that. But don't become these like super insular, like shitty groups. Become like an open and accepting group of cool people. Like, think about it like this. You know how the left has this really bad problem with like people going schizo on Twitter and like losing their mind and like canceling all their friends or something. You know how it's kind of like a thing that's known to happen in lefty communities online, and how they're like super duper gatekeepy and purity testy. We need more communities that are the opposite of that, more open and accepting. Like, oh, you just started your Twitter account and you've got like 5 followers and you're like a lefty and you're just like following some lefty YouTubers. Here, come join the GC. What do you like? How are you doing? Stuff like that. You know, just like form an actual community and stuff like that. That when I see like conservative Twitter communities, there are literal Twitter accounts that are just nobodies that have so many fucking followers just because they post conservative memes. Libs of TikTok? There's no lefty libs of TikTok. Any of you could be the next conservatives of whatever the fuck. Any of you could become the next lefty gimmick account that gets millions of followers and actually influences policy. Conservatives literally want to make boy pussy illegal? Well, for everyone but them. They love boy pussy. We need more people on the left who are actually cool. The left feels like, in its attempts at social equity, has gotten overtly stuffy and over concerned with small slights in policing. Exactly. Chat, it's time to play dirty, all right? The overturning of Roe v. Wade is fucking retarded. The conservatives in the Supreme Court who did it are fucking retarded. And anybody who continues to either support the conservatives in our Supreme Court or in our other positions of power that are doing this, or the people who are just kind of, doing some sort of like, they're just memeing about it, they're just posting some memes about it. They're not really upset about it or whatever. They're just kind of like not talking about it or just letting it pass, not speaking out about it. They're retarded as well. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. You have a responsibility if you have a platform to speak out about how fucked up this is. And if you mock people who feel a moral sort of push to do so, then you're a piece of shit. Go fuck yourself. Also, yeah, this is another part of what we got to talk about. I'm sorry, but you got to stop getting upset about things like people saying the R slur. All right? Retard. There, I said it. Not referring to anybody with any level of mental disability whatsoever. It's just a meaner way to say stupid. That's how 55 to 80% of people in our society, I did the study myself, I will not show my data with you, use the word anyway. So let's be honest. When we literally have the right culturally dominating right now under the idea that the left wants to exterminate comedy, and popular lefty figures are too afraid to say the word retard, then yeah, it's a bad look. So yeah, it's you're gonna have to get over it if it bothers you. Okay, I assure you. Also, if you're a long-time fan of me, you're probably already like 99% sure I have autism. So you probably don't care anyway to begin with. So we'll just move past it. But in all seriousness, I'm not saying that people should start saying the N-word or whatever, but I think that the moral purity testing needs to stop. The left needs to be open and more accepting. The purity testing needs to stop. The left needs to be a gaping rabbit hole. The left needs to be a gaping anus that sucks in like an inward vacuum that sucks in more people, not this farting gaping anus that's just pushing fart juice out constantly, pushing people away with stinky fart air. We need to do the opposite. We need to be a butthole vacuum. The left needs to become more like goatsy and less like cake farts. Are you understanding what I'm saying here? I figured butthole analogies would work well. Goatsy is censored. Thank God. White Nervoso is smart. Yeah, the purity testing has to stop. It's got to go. I'm just not going to really pay woke skulls much mind anymore. Maybe we'll use them for content every once in a while when they complain. But right now, the Republicans are winning, and they're taking people's rights away. So if a few people on Twitter that are either 15 years old or 35 years old and acting 15 want to get mad about it, then they can. That's fine. But we're gonna I'm going to try to push to make a community that is more like the left that I want to see and more like the left that I think is capable of affecting some level of not necessarily political change, but of cultural significance. Some level of cultural significance. Obviously, we can vote. Obviously, you can protest. But realistically, the most that a YouTuber and their audience can do is to influence the online political culture. And that's what I want to do. That's what we can do. I'm not going to do some LARPy, go out there and fucking riot in the streets, I'm not going to do some LARPy shit. But I am going to tell you what realistically, you as my audience and me with my platform, what we can do to potentially at least influence the outcome of the next election and who's going to be in power and making these decisions in the future. With that said, though, I have advice. If you are a uterus haver who is sexually active and capable of reproduction, and you live in a red state or a state that is in any way, shape, or form at high risk of implementing abortion bans, whether it be like based on some time period, like 16-week heartbeat bills, whatever it is, I want you to stock up on Plan B and contraceptives immediately. I've also been told that it is smart to delete your period tracking apps and start using a notepad and paper, because when these states start to crack down on contraceptions and they start to want to figure out who's gotten an abortion and who hasn't, you better believe they're going to look at data from period tracking apps. Delete that shit. Get it off your phone. Stop using it. Start using a pen and paper or a calendar. Track your periods that way. Pen and paper can't be tracked by the government. You can destroy it. Was just about to mention the period tracking apps. Every one of them will share data with law enforcement. Every single one of them would be required to share their data with law enforcement if they were asked. Do not use a period tracking app if you are in one of these states. Just generally, regardless of what ends up happening, if you're in a red state, you should not be allowing the government of your state to have access to your menstrual cycle, frankly. Come on. You shouldn't. Not them. Not in that state. Go to California or New York and you can use one. I don't use those apps, but okay. If you do, then now you know. If you are a man or a woman or an NB or whatever you are, stock up on condoms, stock up on Plan B, stock up on morning after pill, stock up on any contraceptives you can afford that you can save up on, and store them in the most long-term storage safe packaging possible. It's very possible that in a lot of cases, this is going to be we're going to have to wait a while for things to get better type of thing. Xander Hall, it's like Contra said in her cringe video, what started the shift from Gamergate was the left actively being humorous and pointing out the cringe tendencies of the manosphere, as well as lefties being more edgy, as opposed to the left being hyper woke and obnoxious before and during Gamergate. Yeah, unfortunately, ContraPoints forgot that recently, but, or at least it seemed that way on Twitter. Hopefully that was just a momentary lapse in judgment from her. But yeah, exactly. That video was made great points. Made great points, yeah. I'm sorry, but it really is that simple. The most we can do, personally, in our community to implement broader change is to vote in elections, both on a local and federal level, and to try to make a dent on the culture. It's the most we can do. I'm not going to do some LARPy speech. I'm not going to tell you that memes and internet culture and cultural issues don't matter and don't make a difference. They clearly do. That's just the straight truth of it, as far as I can tell. So, yeah, there you go, Cherry.